Harry Dembski would prove to be as challenging to our researchers as he was to his son. Michael had heard that Harry came to America to avoid serving in the Russian army, and that the family's original surname was not Dembski. Rather, it was Danilovich. But beyond that, Michael knew nothing about his grandfather's roots. And for a time, neither did we. There were no records of Harry at Ellis Island. So we couldn't determine when he came to America or where he came from. What's more, Harry had two brothers who immigrated to the United States, Moshe and Abram, and we couldn't find an arrival record for Moshe. Happily, our luck changed with Abram, and the passenger list for a ship that arrived in New York in April of 1911. Please read who was on board.
Danilovich, Abram, age 42, occupation dealer, nationality Russia, race or people Hebrew. Last permanent residence Chelsea, Russia.
Chelsea, Russia. You know who that is? That's your father's uncle.
Oh, well.
That is the arrival of your great-uncle Abram, recorded with the surname Danielovich, arriving in New York. Chelsea is your ancestral hometown.
Whoa.
It was then part of the Russian Empire. Did you know, have you ever heard of this place, Chelsea?
Never heard of that. Chelsea, wow.
Today, Chelsea is a small town in eastern Belarus. But when Michael's relatives lived here, it was part of the notorious Pale of Settlement, the vast region where Russia confined and severely restricted its Jewish population. Jews in the Pale were second-class citizens, subject to continuous, sometimes violent discrimination. And though it's often difficult to learn about their lives, with Michael's ancestors, we were fortunate. We found photographs of the neighborhood in Chelsea where we believe his family lived. In essence, it was the town's Jewish quarter. 90% of the residents there were Jewish.
Okay.
It's the ghetto, right?
Yes, the ghetto.
What's it like to learn this?
Well, it just gives you a better understanding of how it all worked. You know, even then, how it all worked. I mean, I'm sure all Jews like to be together, but not together that much.
No. By law, Jewish people in the Pale were barred from owning land and denied access to higher education. As a result, most worked as tradespeople. But as we researched Michael's family, we discovered that his great-uncle Moshe found a more unusual way to support himself: crime.
Under the decree of the Mogilev District Court, is one a Chelsea townsperson, Moshe Danielovich, accused under Article 1654. Anyone who knows the whereabouts of Danielovich is obliged to inform the court where he is.
Your great-uncle Michael was a wanted man.
This is wild. This is. Do we know what he was wanted for?
We do. But have you ever heard this story?
No, I never heard.
Well, as I said, we didn't find any firm record of his arrival to the United States. So it's possible he may have been in Russia as late as 1906, which is when that article was published.
Right.
It's also possible that he already left when this wanted notice was issued because he was...
It sounds more likely.
According to this newspaper, in 1906, Moshe was accused of what we would call armed robbery. We don't know anything further about the case, so it's possible that he was innocent. However, as we dug deeper, that possibility seemed increasingly unlikely. Records show that 5 years earlier, in 1901, Moshe was imprisoned for a different crime. What's more, we discovered that Michael's grandfather, Harry, was born Gersha Danielovich, and that he, too, had trouble with the law.
November 12th, 1903, Gersha Danielovich, Alexander Berepechka,
Good.
and nobleman Alexander Benkovsky charged under Articles 13 and 1642. My God, it's a little gang here.
Your grandfather, Harry's real name was Gersh Danielovich. He was charged with robbery like his brother, but not with a weapon.
Okay.
This is your grandfather. No family stories about this.
Incredible. No, never. I guess this is probably the part that they were not proud about when they first came to this country.
Yeah, we left that behind.
Yeah.
What's it like to learn that?
Well, it just all kind of comes to life. They must have been struggling to make ends meet. But it looks like somewhat of a professional gang. I mean, it doesn't seem like a one-off. It seems like they live and survive by robbery.
You know, the records at Ellis Island are pretty good.
Yeah.
So we're thinking, how come these guys don't show up? Neither of them, probably aliases.
I'm kind of reeling with this information, but sure makes all the sense in the world. They were.
And let's go back to the story your father told you, that his father came to America to escape the army.
Right.
He came to America to escape prison. Yeah.
This is blowing my mind a little. This is really blowing my mind.